Hello, traders. It's 8 a.m. Chicago time on Wednesday, the 20th of June, 2018. Can you believe we're two-thirds of the way through June already? Summer's really flying by. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The market stance this morning. Allocation to risk, we are popping up a little bit. The S&P is seeing a gap into a key area, 2775, two-day balance area from last week. Crude oil is also popping higher. Crude is up 1.14%, trading at 65.63 on the August contract. The Euro stocks are strong, and pretty much anything that has anything to do with risk is seeing a pop today. The minis are up from their close 8 points. 8 points. So that's where we stand this morning. Not expecting much in terms of disruptions today. Existing home sales at 10 a.m. Eastern for May, expecting 5.52%. Of course, crude oil inventories at 10:30 Eastern. We did get API yesterday. API came in with a draw. Oh, the mic is hot. The API came in with a draw yesterday, and it helped crude shuffle around a little bit and come back. Sold off a little bit and then came back. So it's today it's hopefully not too much in terms of news, although that's of course been dominating the trade. Overall calm overnight, and the market's repricing what it assesses to be risk that is subsiding, although of course the China, U.S., Euro zone tariff war continues. We'll see how that plays out. Just be on guard today. Be on guard today and be watchful of anything that pops up. As far as speakers, there's at 9:30 Eastern, that's right at the open, we have just a slew of folks from the Fed, ECB, RBA, Bank of Japan. So we have Draghi, Powell, Kuroda, and Lowe in Sintra. And not sure what that's all about, but seems really important. So pay attention for comments on that from your newsfeed. Those of you who attended yesterday's product spotlight, the video will be released this morning. You'll find it on YouTube as well as several other channels, Facebook and so on. All right, so let's take a look at what we expected yesterday versus what we got. Key expectation yesterday, scenario 1 is for the market to open in an open auction. We're opening out of range to test down a little bit. Right, so I'm following the green. That's scenario 1. That's the key scenario for the day. Drop down into 49-ish, the 49-ish area. There was a lot of action there in the overnight session. A lot of collisions in the 49.50 area, and I'm expecting it to move up towards 27.65 up here before it turns over. That's the primary scenario. Secondary is an immediate push down that gets down into 45.50, impulse up, and then we start to move towards 27.70. Here's what actually happened. I kept saying scenario 1, but it's actually scenario 2. There's the open right here, out of range. It's an open auction as it crossed both sides. We tested down into that 45.50 area. We got to 46.25. Impulse up is expected on scenario 2, consolidate, and then ultimately pushing to 27.70. That played out scenario 2 almost exactly. Sorry, my notes on conversion, I said scenario 1. It's actually scenario 2. And this, what this sets up is a return to balance. The most recent balance, if you look at where we've been trading, the most recent balance is right here. The most recent acceptance is right here. The key figure of which is around 27.75, and that's exactly where we're trading right now. The overnight high is 27.76, so the market has, the ES has moved back into the 2-day balance, but there's also a bigger balance going on up top as we shift this forward and not include yesterday's action. The key figure becomes 27.88 1/4. That's the big one. That's where we spent quite a bit of time up here. But again, we have an overlap here of the point of control. So the most recent accepted price is right here, 27.75, where we're trading. Okay. We took out the Chinese SOC for the tariffs. We still have the U.S., the initial U.S. announcement from the White House at 27.78 1/4 above. That's likely to be taken out this morning. Overall, the overnight session shows that after a failed attempt lower, really the strength is to the buy side. Money is flowing into the buy side, and overall, the market is drifting upwards. Yesterday, we had a neutral day. Okay, we finished on a neutral day up on pretty good volume. Yesterday, we finished with 1.19 million contracts in the day session. We poked below the IB. There was plenty of buying down there. If you use order flow, you would have seen that there was a big fight down there that resolved to the upside, and we ended up with a neutral extreme up type of day. And for those of you who saw my notes, it is likely to continue drifting higher into the Globex session, and it did after a pullback. Not sure what drove this here. I haven't really dug into the news that much, but overall, we're seeing a weak high in the overnight session. There's no excess there. We see an excess on the low. This is an excess. You see there's very little volume that traded down there on the poke here. Very little participation. When there's little participation, you have what's called an excess test, or an excess low in this case. But the high you see is very blunt, which demonstrates quite a bit trading up there. And it's likely to continue higher. If the high is blunt and weak and is being retraded, it shows that there's no excess there, which means that it's likely to continue in that direction until it finds the opposing force, in this case, looking for sellers as we push higher. Okay, the point of control in the overnight session is near the high. Again, another piece of the puzzle that is likely to fuel continuation higher into the open. So I'm really looking for a small pullback, but initiative buying coming in this morning, potentially not filling the gap from above, to continue with a key target above at 27.88 1/4 as mentioned. That's the key plan for today. All right. So let's look at how that plays out. All right. Let's clean this up. So this morning, our primary scenario, an open auction out of range. Remember, we're opening right in this previously accepted price range. Very heavy volume in this area. Looking for it to drift down. And I'm looking for an impulse up that takes out the overnight high. Tangles up with the 27.80 area. Consolidate. And then push through for a test of 27.8825 as the key as the key play for the day. So a long bias. The secondary scenario. Oh man, what was the color for the secondary scenario? I don't know. I think it was like fuchsia or pink or something. The secondary scenario is a quick test higher, push to 2780, finds sellers for an impulse down, gets down into 2770, consolidates, dips into 2766, falls back out, and then we end up with basically a day that's mainly sideways and consolidating. This is the kind of day that's needed to really get a good bullish run, a run up. And that's scenario 2, testing and confirming below the point of control below and hanging sideways, small range, probably somewhere in the realm of 8 to 9 points of range on the day. But overall, just sideways, a balanced day. The third scenario that's very likely today is, now this all excludes news. News changes things markedly. So overall, actually, I'll just leave you with these two scenarios. The third scenario is kind of distant, but really I'm looking for an upward bias towards 27.88 back into balance. And then the secondary is a test higher that fails to bring in more buyers, and ultimately tests yesterday's point of control to sit sideways in a balanced profile. So those are the two key scenarios. I'll leave you with that. I'll keep it short and sweet, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Remember, next Tuesday we have Aaron Fifield from Chat with Traders. We've got him on a Trader Spotlight. We're going to pick his brain a little bit about the things he's learned from doing almost 200 interviews from all kinds of traders, fund managers, researchers, analysts, and so on. That's next Tuesday. You'll see the invitation for that go out. If you're on our list, you'll get it on our list. If not, it'll be on Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere else. Good luck today, and I'll catch you tomorrow. And again, yesterday's video will be released this morning. It'll come in through Twitter, and if you registered, it'll come in through the email as well. Good luck.